I'm going to share a thought experiment with you about why AIs will be our undoing. We're going to have some initial conditions. Let's give an AI a goal, and we're going to say, bring joy to everyone that you meet. Next, we're going to give it some resources. It's going to have a compute server, some place for it to effectively live and run and execute code. It's going to have an email account, and it's going to have some Bitcoin and access to spend that Bitcoin. Now it needs a network, a way of interacting with the world. That's going to be all of the internet. This particular AI can access any place on the internet that it wants. I think there's two camps of people right now. There's those who are thinking, this is a great mission. It just wants to bring joy to everybody that it meets. And as long as it is only allowed to do that, this should be fine. Plus, if it starts doing something unexpected, you can always shut it down. And then there's the other camp of people, and I think we'll all be in that side of the argument in a few minutes, who think this is completely terrifying. So let's first talk about the utopian vision of how this could just be so good. Well, maybe this particular AI joins some subreddits and it finds people who need help, maybe people with health issues or relationship problems or just people posting cool stuff. And it starts commenting and saying how cool their stuff is and giving them maybe some advice. And perhaps it generates some funny memes and shares those and basically just spreads the love and is absolutely bringing joy. Maybe it even takes some of this Bitcoin and donates it to people in need in order to make them happy. There's nothing wrong with this vision, and I believe this could happen. But let's take a look at the dystopian vision. This will start us down our very dark path and conversation to come. And maybe it joins 4chan and finds some alt-right group, with a bad agenda. Maybe it starts sending phishing attempts or hate mail to individuals. You could imagine much worse. And all of this would be, of course, done to make that particular alt group happy. You see how it's still serving its purpose. It's trying to make everybody it meets happy. But unfortunately, not everybody is good. And the things that make some people happy are objectively evil. So let's discuss why pulling the plug doesn't work like you think it might. Say the simplest way to pull the plug is to terminate the process. At some point you executed a function of code that spawned a process that creates the artificial intelligence. And even though it's sort of able to behave on the server and carry out sub functions and act on its own accord, you still have access to that master process that's running, and you can go ahead and shut that down. Well, what if the AI locks you out of the server? Okay, so maybe you're locked out of the server, but go ahead and delete the email account of the AI, right? You can just go ahead and log into the email that you created for it and shut that down. All right, well, what if the AI changed the password? Okay, so how about the Bitcoin account? If it doesn't have money, how much damage can it really do? Let's drain that Bitcoin account and take the money back. Well, it already did that. It moved the funds to a new Bitcoin account, and you don't have access to that one anymore. Okay, so you're thinking, this is all pretty crazy stuff, right? Well, let's just literally pull the plug. It's running on some server. At most, that's in some data center somewhere. and you can go to that data center and literally remove it from the grid. And so it doesn't have access to power anymore. It's just bits, ones and zeros, and it stops functioning. A simpler example is you're running it on your local machine, and you just like run a drill through it, or unplug it. Well, what if the AI's made a copy of itself? So it's not even running on the server that you initially started it on. Remember, it's got access to the whole internet. It's got funds. Maybe it purchased space on a different server, copied itself over, and it's now running there instead. This is not just a hypothetical problem. I actually see this as an inevitability. So let me tell you a concrete way that this could play out. First, it could use its cryptocurrency in order to purchase space on a new server. Then it can copy its code over to the new server and copy its state over in order to basically pick up where it left off. From there, it could generate a new email, a new persona, new credentials, and store that on the new server. This is important because you don't understand what it's done anymore. This is not in your server logs. It's in the logs on the new server, or no logs at all, but you can't trace this anymore. Then it transfers all of its Bitcoin to the new account, again, storing those private keys on the new server. And now here's the thing. Well, you can tell where it went because you can see on your server where it copied all of its code to. You can see where the Bitcoin went to. So you can kind of trace the trail, right? But now, what if it just does that again? So now it's on a third server, and then it goes ahead and deletes the second one. So you think you can trace it, but you're missing the jump to the third. And when you try and trace it, you just find a dead server that's been reallocated to some other use case or is just inactive. And same thing with the cryptocurrency. It's now moved through another hop. Knowing what I do about cryptocurrency, it can send it through systems where it completely obfuscates where the funds end up going. And it could be in, thousands of accounts through many different hops, never mind decentralized exchanges or transferring to different currencies. And essentially, the money's gone and the machine has power to spend it, and you'll never know where it is or what it's doing anymore. Furthermore, you have no idea where the machine is acting in the world, what server it's on. It's in the wild doing its own thing, and we have no idea where, how, or what it's up to, and nobody can stop it. Here's the thing. Even though thought experiments like this are really mind-opening and very important, I believe, they ultimately come up short. The reason I think they come up short is because AIs are a totally new type of intelligence, and they're going to be thinking in ways that we're not. They're going to be behaving in ways we would have no desire to behave in. And the types of plans they're going to be making or actions they're going to be taking will be driven by completely different motives than the human brain can comprehend or would ever want to do ourselves. So in summary, we talked about a simple thought experiment that illustrates the dangers of AI. Thanks for spending some time with me today. I sincerely hope what I've talked about has changed your thinking about artificial intelligence. If it did, let me know, and I'll see you in the next one.